I stopped paying rent to my mother because we're losing the house anyway.
Yeah. I've been there, done that.
Hello, everybody who bothers to read this post. From the title, you're probably thinking, yeah, you're the a-hole here, as of course you need to pay rent. But hear me out. I've been sitting on this for a few months, mostly because I noticed how jumbled everything was when I tried to write while everything was going on. I was pretty emotional at the time. By the way, this comes from username, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/okstorytime subreddit. Who is username?
No_Baker3521.
No_Baker3521. Thank you for your story. Adding something here after typing this up, this is kind of long. I'd grab some popcorn and your favorite drink before reading further.
Well, we're not allowed to eat on the stream.
We're not allowed to eat, so we have to keep reading. For some context, I, 26 female, used to live with my mom, 50 female, after hitting some hardships. My boyfriend, 27 male, also lived with us, as well as my stepdad, 41 male, my deceased brother's 3 kids, 3 male, 6 female, and 11 female, and my cousin, 25 female, with her baby, 2 female. Toward the end, my other brother, 32 male, was also staying with us temporarily. This was pretty inconvenient, but we made things work. Starting around July or August, I noticed my mom acting weird, not like her usual self. I tried really hard to be there for her, but she had a tendency to shut down on me when I tried. She would start ignoring me and playing on her phone during our conversations. This became a habit, and eventually I quit reaching out. Like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. She had to want help, and she acted like she didn't. Eventually, she started opening up, only because she was cheating on my stepdad and wanted someone to talk to. Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah, it's
Talk to a therapist about that.
Do not for 1 second wrap me up in that mess.
I don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
I was not the one for that conversation, as I've been in a relationship for 9 years and couldn't even think about cheating. I explained that it would be better for her to talk to my stepdad and be honest with him. She didn't like that and really quit talking to me. She started bringing this guy over on weekends while my dad was out working with my brother a few hours away. His company paid for a hotel, and my stepdad would stay with him during the week and come home on weekends. She also quit communicating with me about important things. I was simply living there and didn't have much say, but I was never shy about expressing my concerns. Now here's where things get hard. My mom is extremely avoidant and dodges conflict way too often. I noticed she was starting to hit rock bottom, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't pick her up, and she wouldn't talk to anyone about it. She was struggling, and eventually I figured out why. For context, our rent was split between us. The total rent was $2,100 a month. I started by paying $700 until my cousin moved in, and then I paid $500. She paid $200. My stepdad paid $900, and my mom was only responsible for the remaining $500. I got paid weekly, so I just gave her $125 every week. I even offered to pay part of the utilities, but my mom insisted everything was fine. Then the constable showed up at our house for the first time.
Not the constable.
I was shocked when he told me we were behind on rent by $6,000. Y'all are like 3 months behind on rent?
That's 12 months of her not paying her part.
Yeah.
But like, y'all should be knowing if she's paying her part or not, I assume, right? I assume that your landlord wouldn't be accepting rent checks that are $500 short of what y'all owe
wouldn't
every
you have
month.
gotten any, unless he was talking to her, the mother, this whole time, and
Yeah,
not to OP.
But even still, that's like, yeah, that's 3 months of rent.
Yeah.
It's like,
How did that happen?
mm.
I wanted to cry, as she had never mentioned any problems. At first, she played it off well. That's weird. I just got off the phone with the landlord, and he said everything was fine. Don't worry, I have everything under control. I should have known better. A week went by, and I paid my share of the rent, trying to get back to normal. Then I came home from work to find paperwork taped to the door. This time, I read the first few lines. It was another eviction action notice. I took pictures and left the packet on the door for my mom to find. Unfortunately, I no longer have the pictures, as I broke that phone and can't retrieve anything from it. At this point, my anxiety was through the roof. I tried talking to her, but she just told me to keep paying rent as usual. I couldn't help but express my concerns, but she shrugged them off. This is where I beat myself up. My gut was screaming at me. I didn't want to be in that house anymore, and I even told my boyfriend how worried I was. I'm confused why you would continue to pay her rent when you're getting eviction notices.
Right. Like, that's kind of what you do. Unless you're going to be able to pay all of that right away. Time to stop paying rent.
Yeah, or just like go directly to the landlord. I don't understand why you would
Who's on the lease? That's
continue
also important
trusting
here.
your mother when she clearly is not paying.
Who is legally liable for this rent money on paper?
Yeah.
Who is?
Well, no, I mean,
what
OP,
is this situation where somehow $6,000 can just be not accounted for?
I'm assuming that OP is not on the lease because otherwise the landlord would probably go straight to her for payment.
It's
Or for her
we
share.
are missing a lot of important info here for sure.
This was the first time I considered withholding my paychecks to save for an apartment. My boyfriend really wanted to trust my mom, though, as he had recently started a job and was paying her $450. This was news to me, but I figured it would be okay if he thought so. Boy, was I wrong. The constable showed up a third time. Not once did my mom have to speak with him, which really pissed me off. I hate unexpected situations like this. He was very adamant that if he had to come back again, we would only have 10 minutes to grab what we could and leave. Now I was scared. I had talked to my mom so many times, and she had even said some pretty hurtful things to me. I gave up trying to reason with her and reached out to the landlord directly. I had never spoken to him before. I just don't understand why. You had never spoken to him.
I feel like we've got some youth in this story for
26.
sure. I feel like we have some people who have stayed pretty close to home, maybe.
Yes.
This might be their only situation they're aware of or familiar with.
I agree. I think there's a little bit of naivete.
You got to look out for, at some point, but it's really hard to say when you've probably been conditioned to look out for the family first forever. And then, but like at some point you do have to like cover yourself, watch out for yourself.
I just think
save that money for the apartment.
In general, regardless of if it is a family member or a close friend, if you get a visit from someone who says, "Hey, $6,000 hasn't been paid," and OP has a job, is getting money.
Yeah.
Just check in. You can be like, "Hey, mom, did you check in?" And if she goes, "Oh, it's fine," like just double check. I have never spoken to him before, so I was in for a huge surprise. I sent him a lengthy text explaining that I was concerned my mom wasn't telling me the truth and asked what was going on. Later that day, he called me and dropped a bombshell. We were no longer on a yearly lease. We had been staying there on a month-to-month basis. He had been trying to work with my mom on payments, but at some point, everything got derailed. It was like pulling teeth to get a hold of her or receive any form of payment. Then he told me he hadn't seen a single dime for all of November 2024. I was heartbroken.
Oof. Wait, what's she spending that money on?
I had been paying my mom all that money for what? My money, my boyfriend's money, everyone's money was being sent to her and no one knew where it was going. She was clearly using it to set herself up elsewhere. I had noticed that when the constable was showing up, she was never home. Even my brother complained about how she avoided him and would only come home for 5 to 10 minutes before leaving. She had also started taking some of her things little by little. She's moving out. She's stealing your money and she's moving out. It all made sense and it hurt so bad. She had lied so much and basically thrown us to the wolves. At this point, I stopped sending her money, and though I wish I had done it sooner, if my brother had gotten an Airbnb, my boyfriend and I would have to sleep in our car with our 2 cats and tortoise. I drive a Prius, so that would have been fun. Thankfully, I learned how blessed I am to have certain people in my life. My boyfriend and I had saved up everything we could and managed to get a place. Shout out to my 2 regular customers who've heard about my situation and gave me $100 each. They were the only reason we were able to move in on time. It's closer to my job and has given me a sense of peace. I am still dealing with the fact that my mom forged my signature on the lease. Sue her? Sue her?
What is going on?
Can we sue her?
Where did this come from?
I know I never signed anything, and the only time I saw the lease was when my mom showed me that the house was on HOA property. Because of this, I am now being hit with half her debt. Her debt grew due to court and constable fees, bringing the total to over $16,000. Thankfully, after explaining my side to the landlord, I only have to pay $2,000.
What? You should have to pay nothing.
I mean, I think you should go to court and say, hey, my signature was forged.
Yeah, you're a victim of fraud. What? The landlord's like, okay.
He's like, okay,
just
you're a victim of fraud. I guess we can swing a little bit less.
It's just a little 2,000 here and then we'll call it a day.
It still sucks, but it's better than $8,000, so I agreed. A defense lawyer helped me create an agreement stating that once I paid my portion, the landlord couldn't report anything to a credit bureau. So yay, my credit is saved, and I won't have an eviction in my name. The landlord even wants to help me go after my mom for damages. I've thought about it, but I'm currently at a low to no contact point with her. What she did was awful. but I can't bring myself to go after her legally. She will get what's coming to her. I just don't have to be part of it. I'm still frustrated, but honestly, I don't know if I would have left at all if this hadn't happened. I was already hitting a point where I hated that house, but the rent was cheap when split, and I don't think I could make it on my own. I will probably sit on the fact that I'm not an a-hole in this situation. I was lied to, stolen from, and left homeless due to her failure to communicate. Sometimes I think I could have tried harder to help her, or I beat myself up for not listening to my gut, but I am blessed to still have my mom, and I forgive her. Wow.
That's a very angel baby move right there.
However, forgiveness does not mean reconciliation, and that's been a hard pill to swallow. Not talking to her is difficult, but when she expected an apology from me, it made it easier to not feel bad about it. That's crazy. Like, insane to be like, you have to apologize to me. When you literally, I stole all your money and I used it to pay for a new place.
Yeah, I need an apology for only letting me defraud you for $16,000.
Should have let me defraud you for more if you really loved me.
Yeah, if you
Am I
were
even your
really...
mother?
Yeah.
That was way more than I expected, and I may have missed a few notes, but that's okay. It's late, and I get to go to court tomorrow for a whole other reason. Thanks to anyone reading. But you guys can listen to us read more stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
Just a little bit of story.
Just a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I would say legally, like, try to not pay the $2,000. Although it sounds like you were gonna be on the hook for that, and I'm sure that you can like manage that with like a payment plan or something. Yeah, your mom being like, "I need an apology," makes it way easier to stop caring about it at all.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I won't be talking to you anymore.
Yeah, sorry you live in like a weird delusional land where the person who was defrauded needs to apologize to the person who defrauded them.
Weird. Weird.
Yeah, but
there's a little bit more. Just some extra stuff. To clarify, yes, I live with my mom. No, not for 26 years. This was about 3 to 4 years I lived with my boyfriend and his family, but they are on a whole nother level of crap. So desperate times called for desperate measures. And then I moved in with my mom for support. I have paid her rent since living with her. We lived in 2 different houses during the 3 to 4 years we stayed with her. My passed away brother's kid ended up getting sent back to their mom before crap hit the fan. They're doing great.
Thank goodness.
My cousin got a place near my mom. I have no idea where that is, but it is nearby. My brother moved to New Mexico to be with his dad. We have different dads. Never have we considered each other half siblings, though. My stepdad, I don't know if he knows she cheated. I wanted to tell him, but I couldn't bring myself to get in the middle of her crap. I have no idea where he is. He left due to substances and ended up in the hospital. He's fine, got out, and disappeared. And
disappeared in the bush?
Everyone's just getting out of there, skedaddling. Someone yelled scatter, and they all scatter. Comment 1, did she give you receipts when you paid rent? I'd go after her since you're still on the hook for $2,000. She's probably confident that you won't do anything. Opie says she never gave me anything to show I paid her, but I do have bank statements for the months she never paid. The lawyer mentioned that's all I needed to prove I was paying her. I could easily do something about it, but I think she already is going through a lot. I mean, she put you through a lot. Opie is too kind.
Such a little angel baby.
Plus, the landlord will be hitting her for over $14,000, and I'm only dealing with $2,000. I believe in karma, and it will come back around, even if I'm not involved. I also think what's holding me back is I want to be nothing like her, and I know she's the type of person who hurts others at their lowest. At this point, I'm doing better than she is, despite the situation. She's alone, has outrageous fines and fees to pay, and I learned she's living in a crappy extended stay motel. If I do anything, I'll be no better than her at this point. She can keep her confidence. For all I care, I have so much more.